Hello, welcome to Inbound Sales Day. My name is Jamie Shanks. I'm the CEO of Sales for Life, and I want to talk to you about social selling mastery. And that's for taking your organization out of the random acts of social and moving it to true sales and marketing alignment so that your organization could socially sell every deal, every day. Now, I'm taking words right out of Jill Rowley's mouth. So social selling mastery, it's been deployed by 65,000 sales and marketing professionals around the globe. It doesn't matter if your organization is 5 sales professionals or 5,000. We've trained around the world, every size organization in dozens of industries. So please, this is going to be very tactical. I'm going to show you exactly how your organization can run what we call the feed routine. The feed routine is very simple. It stands for find, educate, engage, and develop. And what it's meant to do is allow a sales professional to look at any account or any group of accounts and decide exactly in a very simple cadence, 30 to 60 minutes a day, how I'm going to approach that customer or group of customers to help find the right buyers and decision makers or industry influencers. I'm then going to educate myself and then educate the market. I'm going to then engage them either in one-on-one conversations socially or be able to deploy what we call micro-marketing, where an individual sales professional can disseminate ideas to a huge group, a large audience of their social platform, and then lastly, develop their network. Continue to engage and develop relationships with net new buyers or growing their social networks that ultimately increase your social influence. Let's start with the find part of the routine. The most important piece to social selling is about getting organized. So I take my CRM data, which is activities, sales activities, and I look at all the contacts that I'm dealing with. I need to have a one-to-one relationship between those contacts and my social relationships. So a tactical step to the find routine is getting organized where I'm aligning all of the contacts at the accounts that I'm supposed to be representing, whether it's in a geographic area or if it's in an industry or one named account. I outline the people in my CRM, and my social relationships in LinkedIn and Twitter need to be one-to-one. So I'm connecting with each one of those contacts. I'm following every one of those companies. And I'm also looking at the finding exercise, not just people, but all the organizations. So that might be operations, finance, sales, procurement. But then I'm going even another layer, and I'm looking at what those buyers are reading. Who are their rock stars in the industry? So I'm also socially surrounding their industry. I'm connecting with their industry leaders from Forrester's and Gartner. I am ensuring that I know their world by a complete map and plan. So to summarize, find, I'm ensuring that my CRM and my social relationships are a one-to-one match. What I'm then able to do is when I start to deploy my engage strategy, I know exactly who I need to talk to, when I need to talk to them. Stage 2 is educate. This is a routine that I do every single morning. I get up in the morning. For me, I'm up between 5:15 and 5:30 every morning. I grab my phone, and my first instinct, I do not read email. I'm ensuring that I'm educating myself and my market. So as I'm eating breakfast in the morning, I'm reading what I use Feedly, or we use Everyone's Social as an employee advocacy tool to aggregate both created content from our marketing team and curated content from the market. I'm siphoning through all of this information to make sure that I understand what's going on in my ecosystem and my customer's ecosystem. And I find 1, 2, 3, 4 articles that I think could be great for an individual VP of sales or that chief marketing officer, but also think of my entire social relationships on LinkedIn and Twitter. I need to make sure everybody is seeing that latest Harvard Business Review article or the blog from HubSpot. So I take that content and I share it into the market, either as a one-to-one strategy to a CMO or to everybody within my social platform. This part of the routine is done first in the morning before every other exercise that I do, because this is how you educate your market without forgetting to do it. I don't get trapped in the daily routines of other sales activities. I'm taking education of myself and my market most seriously. Now it's time to have sales conversation. This is part 3, the engage part of the feed routine. And this is where most people who think they're doing social selling fall flat on their face. They think that liking or commenting or sharing on people's social platforms is the answer to engagement. It's a piece of engagement, but let's face it, we're in a contact sport, we're in sales. So if you look at your weapons of choice before, you had the phone, you had email. Well, now social platforms are a means of communication, one-to-one communication. So my game plan, based back in Find, where I got organized, I'm now choosing a named account. And I'm thinking about the chief marketing officer, the chief sales officer. I'm looking at the VP of sales enablement, and I'm thinking how I'm going to engage those 3 people today, each with different levels of priority, each with different knowledges of our market, social selling. So I'm going to find a very specific piece of content for a very specific person and apply a very specific message to that person. That one person, I'm trying to move a little bit further along their buyer's journey. This is important because if you've ever read The Challenger Customer by CEB, they call it the spinning plate theory. And that's basically every one of your buyers is moving at different speeds, and you need to be cognizant of the fact that you're helping different people at different times. So what I'm doing, part of organizing, is I look at a named account, and there might be 3 major contacts that I'm trying to approach. Or it could be the 5.4 that Challenger Customer talks about. But I take those individuals and I'm developing a cadence, a touch point cadence. Maybe day 1, I'm going to do a LinkedIn message. Day 2, I'm going to tweet them and then follow up via call. Day 5, I am going to perhaps send an email, call them, and then like or comment an article that they've posted on LinkedIn. So I'm developing this cadence, multi-touch point, not just 1 or 2. I'm talking 5 to 10 touches over the next 30 days for each one of those contacts at each company. And I map all of this out. When we're mapping out our sequences, we can use tools like the HubSpot sales platform to be able to map out day 1, 3, 5, 7, all of the touch points in advance. And it reminds us what we need to do next. Social engagement is not just like, comment, and share. It is about having direct one-on-one conversations. That doesn't just mean social platforms, it means your other tool belts. It means phone, email, and social. But you're taking all of the information you used in the educate piece to have more contextual conversations. The last stage to the feed routine is called develop, because every single day you need to look at yourself as a digital newspaper. And those that own newspapers grow by subscribers. My subscribers are more VPs of sales, VPs of marketing, chief learning officers. That's my buyer persona. So what I'm doing is every single day, I'm looking at who engaged in my content, who's looking at my social profiles, and I'm adding them into the network. The reason I do this is every single day, I add a VP of sales in. I have a higher probability that they notice my content. I have a higher probability that that VP of sales shares my content to their network. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy and a loop in which more VPs of sales come into my network. If you start doing this every single day, 1 year from now, you'll take your social network for perhaps 500 LinkedIn contacts to 1,000. Then the next year goes to 2,000, then 4,000, then 8,000. And all of a sudden you become a magnet to your industry. Now, the development piece all comes together in a routine. So let's put together this routine. Every single day, I'm doing this in 30 to 60 minutes a day. So I wake up, I think of the named accounts I want to find all the decision makers, champions, and influencers in. I organize it. It's called the sphere of influence. I'm trying to identify who are the people and the people related to those individuals that are most likely to care about my story. Now I've got to educate myself, finding a great story, finding a great piece of content that will open up a door with an insight that that buyer's never seen before. Now I then engage them. I phone them, I email them, I socially surround them, I like, comment, share. I send them a direct LinkedIn email. I tweet them, all to get their attention. And once I've gained their attention, I move the conversation from online to offline. And now I'm developing my network to find more of those potential buyers. And I'm doing this in 30 to 60 minutes a day and repeating this and growing the machine. That's the feed routine. The second takeaway I want you to get from Social Selling Mastery is how to measure social selling. And this specifically is for sales leaders, marketing leaders, sales enablement leaders. You have to understand exactly how to measure social selling, because for some reason, this has been some sort of magical mystery for organizations. What I'd like you to do is first, I want you to picture you're back in school. The schoolyard analogy is if you were a teacher and you were teaching a group of students, you needed to find leading, current, and lagging indicators to make sure that the team does what they need to do. Because your goal as a teacher is you need to ensure that the entire classroom aces their exams and all goes off to college and university. That's your lagging indicator. But if half the class graduates and half doesn't in June, you failed. And so you need these ways of measuring along the way. So as an example, in school, what was your leading indicator? That was people raising their hand, sitting in the front of the class, showing interest. That'll be your leading. Your current indicator will be your pop quizzes, your assignments, keeping people honest and showing that they could take what they've learned and apply it in a behavior or action. And you do all of these checks and balances so that you can align to a lagging indicator. Well, now let's think of how we measure social selling in the context of finding all of those pieces. And what we use is called the Kirkpatrick model. Think of a triangle, and in the Kirkpatrick model, the first level that you need to understand is, are my sales team excited? Or do they enjoy social selling? Do they enjoy learning these new skills? Because if you can't crack the code on level 1, the rest will never happen. If your sales team is not genuinely interested in learning new skills, you're in trouble. Level 2 of the Kirkpatrick model is about learning absorption. You need to find ways of testing. Did people take what I gave them, absorbed it, and are willing to change their behavior? Because level 3 is about now taking that learned skill and applying it in the market. You need a way to test it. And then finally, let's get to results and return on investment. That is where you're measuring, are they taking all these behaviors and are they making sales outcomes for us? New leads, new opportunities. So now what I want to do is walk you through all of this and tactically how you're going to measure things. So what you need is a leading, current, and lagging indicator for each one of the levels of the Kirkpatrick model. Let's get very tactical now. Let's get to level 1. Level 1 is I need to know if the team likes it. So what I need to do up front is do readiness assessments or feedback surveys to understand before I do any training, do people do social selling? Do they like it? Is it part of their DNA? And then I need to deploy my workshops, my training, whatever I'm going to do to ensure that I've started to change their behavior. And I need to measure at the end, did people like it? To keep yourself honest in level 1, you'll be able to see, are people asking questions? Are they sitting in the front of the room? For us, we deploy our training virtually. So are they attending live class? Are they engaged on the virtual sessions? You need to understand this. Now level 2, are we learning? This is where you can take learning management platforms, videos, quizzes, guides. Are they actually, your leading indicator should be people reviewing the material, looking at the videos. Your current indicator, give them an assignment, pop quizzes, whatever you can to make sure that you're understanding, do people get what I'm talking about? And your lagging indicator should always be a certification. For us, we make certifications practical. They need to actually apply the knowledge, booking leads and opportunities to prove that they have absorbed it, because it proves that people now understand what they're doing. Level 3, behavioral change. This is where you can take baseline measurements of people's social network size, LinkedIn social selling index scores, employee advocacy usage rates, This is your baseline. Take a leading indicator to say, are people using our employee advocacy? Are people actually growing their LinkedIn networks? And every single week or month, redo these tests. Now you have a current indicator to show that what they're learning is actually changing their behavior, because your lagging indicator should be 20% uplift in their LinkedIn social selling index score, or doubling their usage rate of your employee advocacy tool, or doubling the size of their LinkedIn network within 6 months. Those are achievable goals. And finally, let's get to results. Your CRM and marketing automation platform are critical to social selling success. Your leading indicator will be leads created or social selling activity from marketing automation or your CRM showing social actions. Your current indicator could be pulling your marketing automation data at any time to see that you're increasing the number of social inbound leads, meaning your team is actually sharing content, people are coming through the demand gen funnel into your system. Your lagging indicator should be that new leads and opportunities are created every week, every month from social. All of this can be measured. So now you have a leading, current, and lagging indicator for every level of the Kirkpatrick model, and now you have a business case to show empirical evidence of social selling success. So I really hope that you found this two-part series very tactical. First, I wanted you as a sales professional to see exactly how you apply a feed routine to every named account, every deal, every day from Jill Rowley, and that you can do this in 30 to 60 minutes a day. What I also wanted is that senior leaders, sales, marketing, and enablement leaders know that A, you can measure social selling, and B, you already have the technology to do it. You just needed to understand how you apply it and measure these gates piece by piece to ensure that 90 days from now or 180 days from now, you have a business case that shows empirical social selling success. But these are just the tip of the iceberg. I've given you little samples of the Social Selling Mastery book. Go to getsocialselling.com. You can use Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever way you want to purchase this book, grab it. I promise you, this book is going to help ensure that social selling gets into the DNA of your entire organization. Because the most important quote of the whole book is by Aristotle: the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Social selling is a team sport throughout your entire company, not just individual contributions.